What is going on, gamers? We're here with Andy Rue, first place deck profile. What he be playing?
IMPERALDRAMON, the best deck
Sheesh.
since BT9. Doesn't stop.
True. This man's already been on the channel a couple of times with his deck list from topping events, locals. But now we're here, first place of the 1K event. Man got $1K in his bank. Show us this fat list.
We changed a few things since the last list, but not too much. So a fair bit similar, but a few things different. 4 Demi-Devi Bebes, because it's the best, and 5th deck sucks. Upamon sucks. Upamon sucks in this deck specifically, not as a blanket thing. This deck doesn't really strip material, so Upamon does the big suck. So we don't play it, we just play it for the guess. Good one.
Also, that Altar's hot, so
Yes, I'd like it.
you're gonna play.
Still, of course, 4 of your Searchy boys. Now, once again, it's worth mentioning that this was a mulligan tournament, so some of these choices I would change slightly for non-mulligan.
Yep.
So 4 Searchy boys, 3 EX1 Vmon for your restand, and 3 Labramon. So these are both for memory game. I ended up going with the 3-3 ratio because I found that sometimes if you did certain high memory plays with Jogris, you still kind of wanted the Vmon to be there. You also still want a healthy amount of them there for like Magnamon and things like that. So even though I did like this at 4 before, I'm kind of happy with the 3-3 ratio. They kind of do the same thing. This has got a higher ceiling, but it has a higher chance to also have to be dead if you don't have the XVmon, so it seems good.
Yeah, that's fair.
I went with 2 of the BT8 Vmon. Now, I never used to like this one. I'm still a bit antsy about it, but this particular format, it seems extremely important to get to your Megadeths. And this is the one card you've got that does search that, and it also searches all your multi-cards, so pretty much all your 5s and 6s as well. So, look, it's not the best card in the world, but I think it's needed right now.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Anyway, that's the rookies. I believe it was 11. Champion lineup should look pretty familiar, of course. 4 X Vmon, best card in the deck. Yes, that's pretty much it. I've said multiple times why it's the best card. 4 Stingmon, once again, you're not going to find anything new here. You'd be silly not to play 4 of each there. I've gone back to 2 Parasolmon, so I've dropped Lydramon because I had the same problems where it just kind of sucks. This is just to have 6 copies of Stingmon without the inheritable, so look, I would rather be able to make the play and not draw than not make the play. Lydramon costing 5 just doesn't let you do that play. There's every now and then you miss Lydramon, but in reality this does a much better job.
Yeah, that's fair.
Came up a heap, so I was fine with that. 1 Magnamon. Decided to go back to this over the Leo. I think I still had this in the last list anyway, but there's much more synergy in Imperial to have Magna. And also with Chimeramon when you bring it back, and with other things as we'll go on later, so Magna is definitely the correct blocker. Levamon for game, because Levamon's good.
You gotta play it.
Yep, not really a whole heap to comment on there. For your 5s, of course, this is the same lineup. 4 Paildramon. This is really what the deck is, it's not the other stuff. The other stuff is all bonus, but really Paildramon is obviously what steals the show. Still 1 of each. Borrowed Nathan's Altar Chimeramon because that looks good. Got a flex. Still comes up with the play with fighter mode, and also a few more plays now, often with Magnamon, so you get the 4th colour. And you can minus DP a lot. You can also trade a lot better because it'll go up to the 12k and minus by 4. So
that's true. 12k, good number.
When it lines up, it lines up. So the 6s changed a little. 2 Dragon, 1 Fighter Mode, and 1 Magnum Body X. I saw a profile online that ran this. I thought I'd give it a crack. Really liked it. So it's not used the exact same way as it is with Armor Rush. Most of the time you don't have the armor form in there. The way I used this most of the time, and it did pay off a fair bit, was swing twice with Paildramon. Didn't have a really amazing play afterwards, so you could play the Magna. It takes a lot to out it typically. If they've got the D-Digivolve, they've got the D-Digivolve, fair enough. But apart from that, it makes that sticky, so you're likely to keep the body around. Ideally, if you can, you put it over a stack that has the Magna so you can get that bonus effect, but you don't rely on it. And Chimeramon, in theory, can add the Magna back under the stack. And
I did see you do that.
Yeah. And then pop that under, and then suddenly armor's back in the stack again. And that's pretty cool.
Very clever.
And I don't think that's not necessary, so it wasn't my idea to bring this in, but I thought it was a pretty cool tech. And also just the extra security, like when it gets outed, It's beautiful.
Yeah, you said it was serving you well during the tournament and whatnot.
Yeah, I tested it a fair bit, not a crazy amount, but it was enough to say, yeah, I think it's better with it. But also the other point of that is fighter mode.
Not as good, right?
I love it to pieces, but in this format, there's a lot of things that just stay out of range of the bounce, even with Chimeramon.
Yep.
And it's just not putting in the work like it did last format. So down to 1 at the moment. I would happily put it back to 2 in different circumstances. Tamers, 2 of Dual Tamer, 3 Davis. In non-mulligan formats, I'll absolutely put this back to 4. But when you can mulligan, the chance of seeing one is a fair bit higher, so 3 is fine with mulligan. Always the card you want to kind of look for in your opening hand. Rookie plus that is good.
It's very good.
Options, 1 Blue Mem Boost, 1 HPD, 1 Ice Wall. Still got the 1 offensive plug-in A. Fair few builds have dropped this. I think you can drop it if you wanted to. Like, it came in really good against security control, but that's probably the only matchup where it really put in a lot of work. It can steal games, but it can also brick, so I don't know, it worked out for me. I guess that made it right.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
you can also just not run it.
I think it's too good on the IMPERALDRAMON, like,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
crazy.
Exactly. And then 3 Hammer Spark, and then specifically because, once again, mulligan, and because of how much Alphamon we got run around, Megadeth is just needed. You just need the best statistical chance of hitting it in security. That came up a fair bit through the day, like not every single round. My top 8 match, my first match of the top 8, they came in pretty clutch in the mirror, and it is what it is. You play it to have it there, you play it to max copy, so that there's more chance of that happening.
You gotta have it in there.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the full deck.
Alright, hell yeah. Do you want to talk quickly about matchups in the 5 Swiss rounds?
Sure. So I actually lost the first round.
That's solid.
I lost to this really interesting build of it was a like Mastamon or Dinamon, like heavily on the Regulamon and stuff like that. And it was pretty hectic. He just kept putting these the Makemons back in security, and then I kept swinging in, and then it kept tapping like, I don't know, this guy just saw all the purple tamer, so every time it was just summon, go through memory, pass turn, and it was hard to beat that. Like, I just want to swing in to hurt the time, and there's a lot of punishes, so I mean, good on him, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I lost that. Round 2 was security control. I just have a good matchup in security control. I just swing a whole heap, and unless they have it super stacked, I don't die to the big stuff. So
That's true.
I think on one game he was forced to give me 7 or 8 memory to out something, which resulted in me doing some like absolutely disgusting things. I think it was IMPERALDRAMON swing 2, summons a free search, HPD, Dragon Mode, spit 2 out, tap the tamer, restand, IMPERALDRAMON. Then it was the plug-in on that IMPERALDRAMON, swing 2, swing like 1 more, and it was, I think I took 7 or 8 security in the 1 turn.
Holy crap.
Because it just doesn't put a lot of pressure on the IMPERALDRAMON deck, so like it's not a big deal. And also bottom decking all the Undramons and stuff like that, so that they don't get summoned off of the Hell Slice and things like that.
Yeah, that'd be really handy.
Yeah, I mean, Hellscythe hits the IMPERALDRAMON, and I'm like, well, 2k with jamming, might as well be any number.
Yeah.
Round 3, what was round 3 against? Trying to remember now.
I know you had Imperial round 5.
Yeah, round 5. Round 3.
You clearly won it. So.
Yes, I won that, and I ran round 4. Round 3 was against the Red Aggro Omni Shoutmon deck.
Oh, yeah.
And then my deck was just a bit more aggressive, so that just is what it is. Round 4, I believe, was finally against someone from local links.
Yep.
God, this is bad. It was like a week, 2 weeks ago now, so I'm actually trying to
It was a while ago.
Oh no, it was Andrea. It was Andrea.
Oh, yeah.
It was against Armor Rush, so quality of memory. I'm totally not going losing my mind here. It was against Armor Rush. That was actually pretty close. I did 2-0 it, but every game was like kind of down to my last, if not lowest security. But it just swings more often. And because I run a fair few lower level things, like there's a lot of VMons in the deck that actually works out really well in the Armor Rush. They typically want to swing in, like have their thing die, and then pop something on, restand with the candle. So having a lot of VMons actually really help because they'll just swing in and survive, and then they're just like, okay, cool, I guess that happened. So that's a weird kind of interaction where having crap security can really help.
Yeah, you actually want the armors to all die.
Yeah. Then final match was the Mirror against Costa.
Yep.
That went pretty much like any Mirror does. It was I won the first game. He actually won the second and third. I saw a better sequence of cards in the first game. He saw the better sequence of cards in games 2 and 3, and I think in game 2 he had really good security and I had terrible.
Yep.
So I lost that. Then I just managed to.
So you got in eighth, the top eight.
Which had
from
a few
there,
factors
what
there.
happened?
Yeah, from there we did all right. So there we, because of the whole, Costa came first in
Swiss,
and I was 8th, so they have the top-bottom approach. So we actually had to
the rematch
directly afterwards. I 2-0'd him in that one, and it was just the flip happened. We both had good lines. I think in game 2 it was like particularly sacky. We were both doing a bit of back and forth, and then I think he went for his swing. First hit was Megadeth, and just kind of. That's what it comes down to, unfortunately. There is some skill involved, but for the most part, you saw the line faster than I did. Cool. You had the Megadeth, I didn't. What it is, I'm not going to pretend that there was a crazy amount of skill involved. It's a lot of various things.
What was your round 2?
So round 2, so semi-finals against Nathan's Wargame X.
That's right.
By rights, I actually should have lost that match, but I Megadeth in the clutch moments. I Megadeth his stack. I forgot he had the protection. He forgot he had the protection.
Everyone forgot.
The protection is optional, so that wasn't actually something that needed to be repaired. Like that is up to them. So it kind of sucks. Like I didn't want that to go down that way. But that ended up costing the game. Huge back and forth.
It did happen.
That was honestly probably the most intense game I had the whole day, with the sheer amount of back and forth. I won game 1 very cleanly. Game 2, I had him down to nothing, and I did not think for a second I was going to lose it. And then I got turned around, clapped for all my security and on me, and I was like, all right, cool. And then game 3 we pulled it through with, and honestly it is good in this play. So by all rights, had that misplay not been caught by Nathan, had it been caught, he would have been in the finals instead. But I mean, after 7 rounds,
it does happen. It's a long day.
And
the finals
was against Black's Oryukin mode, Alphamon. Surprisingly, I feel like that's if you don't see a bad hand, that is actually, as it turns out, probably your easiest matchup in this deck.
You seem to grind it pretty well.
Well, the grind happened, like that existed, and that's probably like the exception. That was because my hand was like terrible and it took ages to pull together. And then game 2 is probably a better example of when things go well. The deck just typically says.
I saw your opening hand and I was just like, what the fuck?
I think it was the whole line pretty much. It was the Vmon, the X Vmon, the Stingmon.
It was the Labra with the X Vmon. I think Davis was in there or one of the teamers. Anyway, it was like the perfect hand.
Yeah, it was very, very good. And the deck just says you're dead by turn 3. Can you what can you do? And it's a bit of a checkmate situation because to deal with it, they don't really have many options to deal with it. So they have to bring out the stack. And if they bring out the stack's not going to last long. So it's got to get bottom decked or Megadeth or anything along those lines. So I think, look, the only way or you can easily win that matchup is if they open crazy fast, like faster than you, which is rare, or they just have super cracked security. You're going to go for 5 checks and the first thing is
like Breath of the Gods
or something. So getting in quick chip damage and then going for big swing turns afterwards, that's one of the easier matchups. Like I hate to say it, Blake did very well to get in there, but it was just purely due to the matchup. That was probably my easiest match all day.
And everyone was playing it at locals. You had a lot of experience, going into it. But congrats again.
Thank you very much.
I can't think of a better person to win it, so congrats. Final question. Who is Joe?
Who is Joe? I heard he's Among Us, so is it Joe Among Us?
Joe Among Us!
Oh shit!